Welcome to Ruby Cod Territorial Space. We are about to dock with the Morningstar Space Station. Please return to your assigned space. Security locks will be engaged prior to gravity fall. Welcome to the Morningstar. In a short while, you will be ferried down to the surface of Ruby Ka, where a new life awaits you. Please proceed through the laboratories and create the identity you wish to take on. Good luck. Please select breed and gender.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our first Let's Play Anarchy Online. This will be episode 1, and I hope it may be episode 1 of 1000 someday. Just to give you a little history, I've been playing Anarchy Online off and on for 10 years now. I have my original CD when I got it mailed to me. I think it was a beta CD even, many years ago, back when we were using dial-up pretty much, and well, they mailed the CD out to you so you wouldn't have to download it on dial-up. So I've come back. I haven't found any MMOs out there quite like Anarchy Online. It's probably going to be one of the most complicated MMOs you guys as the viewers have seen out there. Unfortunately, most people are only familiar with things like World of Warcraft, which clearly was created before this game, but somehow this game was created 10 years ago. Who knows how that happened? But anyways, I know World of Warcraft was the first MMO and whatever the rest of the trolls out there say. But I'm here to show you some old school MMO that is a wonderful game, and even 10 years later doesn't look too bad, and I think it's worth playing and worth trying out. So today I'm going to be creating a soldier, and I've never played a soldier. In my 10 years, I haven't really played any kind of ranged class in Anarchy Online, so I think this is a wonderful opportunity to try out a soldier. As a new player, I'm just going to say this right off the bat. I suggest you do a bit of research on what you want to make. Look up some videos and whatever, because every profession is almost completely different. This game isn't one of these games that have hardcore balancing. There is some, more balancing when it comes to PvP, but when it comes to PvM, they actually go player versus monsters and not player versus environments. Like, what are you doing, whacking down a friggin' tree? There's a huge different balance. Every class has their unique uses, and well, you will learn that over time in the game. So I'm going to probably make a Solitist, but there's the Solitist male and female, which are basically humans. Opifex male and female. They're more of an agile breed. And then we got Nano Mage, male and female. Nano Mage, basically, sort of to give you an idea, since they have the word mage in it, they use nanotechnology, which is sort of, I guess, your equivalent to magic in a lot of games these days. They just have a higher skill in those areas. And Aatrox, which is more like the, the muscular guy. He's a bit derp, but he's pretty good, giving a good beating and has some good health. So we're going to pick Solitist, which is probably one of the more flatline breeds out there, I guess, when it comes to stats. They give you kind of a balance of everything, which I think is, to be honest, quite useful on many professions. By the way, I shouldn't say classes if I said that before. It's professions in this game. But here, let me show you the professions.
Please choose your appearance.
Gotta choose my appearance first. Oh wait, I wanted to pick a female actually.
Please select breed and gender. Selected.
I like the females because they can be kind of tiny looking, so. I know, it's not high-tech looking heads. Oh, there we go. I'm definitely going for that. There we go. She look pretty? Hey, the fatter you go, the smaller they get, though. There we go. So now it's professions.
Please select a profession.
I'm putting these movies at 1080p, so please feel free to put it at the highest quality possible and maximize your full screen your YouTube video, and you should be able to read the descriptions. I'll also just tell you briefly what they are basically, just in a derp sum kind of thing. Metaphysicist is basically they control three pets that they can spawn. One is an attack one is a mez pet, which kind of like memorizes. Oh, those friggin' warlock pets, the ones that the succubus or whatever, sort of like that. They kind of like stun the monsters and players, and then they have a heal pet, which is kind of cool. Really good solo class, but it's still quite a bit to learn, and they're good for buffs. We'll get into buffs eventually later on. You probably don't. Oh, I guess you hear the word buffs in most games still. Adventure, basically they're melee and range. They can even take up some shape-shifting forms. I guess you can put it to an equivalent as a druid. They're really great at soloing. They can heal themselves, and they can do fair damage. Engineer probably does quite a lot of high damage at low and high levels, probably not in the medium levels. They can cast these Slayer droids, where they just are these like huge, big, kick-ass droids, and then basically they can also create these little pets, which are dogs, and I think they can have 2 of those or 1 of those in total. So I think they have 3 pets in total, but it's been a while. I haven't played for ages. Soldier is what we're going to be. Basically, it uses high-powered rifles, basically. That's, it's pretty common. Soldier is probably the more common of most of the guys in this game. Keeper is probably more of an old age type thing. More of a, I say a keeper's more of a, well, I guess it's something like in World of Warcraft, maybe like a paladin type thing. But I'm not comparing it to World of Warcraft. I'm just trying to compare it to general MMOs out there. Basically, he could use swords. I think his best skills are swords. I'm sure you can give him a gun. Actually, any character here can use guns or swords. This game is basically by a point system, basically. Oh, I'm saying basically a lot. It's a point system, basically where you spend what points you want in what areas, but of course you want to keep them to that class or profession to make them a little more balanced. But they use a sword, they use auras, basically like a healing one, and etc., and a damage one, and they're pretty cool, slow pace, pretty good soloing. We have Shade, which is probably the most difficult character to ever start as a first player, just because you kind of need a higher level to farm the spirits. They don't use implants, or they can probably use symbionts, or is it certain kinds? I'm pretty sure they stick to just spirits though. And in the end game, they're kick-ass. They do so much damage, and even at low levels. But you'd have to have a really good main to kind of fund them, or at least to farm for them. Fixer. Probably Master of Arcade if you're a Froob. If you're not playing a paid account, you're playing a free account, they're probably ultimate characters, especially if you're neutral, because you can offer and sell people great access. But I think overall the SL, which is called Shadowlands, which is the paid content, isn't as strong as some of the other classes. I can't give you much, but they're good for run speed buffs, fixer grid, and they're kind of good for trade skill as well as engineer. I should say engineer is even better. I think it goes fixer, engineer is the second best, or no, okay, so it's fixer is the third best, engineer is the first best, and trader I think is like the third best in that area for certain trade skills. Agent is probably, actually I think maybe Agent is harder than Shade in some ways. Agent is trade skill of everything. I don't actually mean trade skills of crafting, but they can become every profession besides, I think, Keeper and Shade. I don't think they can turn into those, but they can use every profession's nanos, which is their buffs and their magic skills. And of course there's limitations. They can't use every single one, but they can use quite a bit of them. And for example, they can turn into a metaphysicist and cast a heal pet to follow them while they heal them. Of course, overall the agent is probably like a hybrid and gets quite nerfed down the tree, because you kind of spend a lot of points and everything to be able to do everything. But they're still pretty fun, and I think they do pretty good damage in PvP and etc. But I'm not really big in PvP, so I'll leave that out of you. Trader, probably one of my favorite characters ever. Not to play. I've never gotten higher than like 25, I think, for the trader shop. But at level 25, they get access to a trader shop, which lets them sell items at a higher, it gives them more credits when you sell items to it. Not only that, also your computer literacy, which is a skill that everyone has, the higher that is, the better things sell. I think with the trader you can sell things maybe 2-3 times higher than say what a level 5 character can sell. So it's really cool. Sort of like I guess in some games you have faction that kind of decreases the prices of buying and selling. I guess around sort of like that. Trader uses, I think, shotguns, and they have this skill called a wrangle, I can't say it, which is a huge buff that they can do to other characters for a certain time, which is really good to tweak on items. Another thing you guys will have to learn, items are not in this game. If it's a level 10 item, you don't have to be item level 10 to wear it. It could be level 1. You have to have the stat requirements, that's it, which sometimes you can tweak into those stats to wear items, which is really complicated, but we'll get into that. Then we have Doctor, which is pretty much the best soloer in the game, but really, really slow. Not like some games where a med or med profession, I'm thinking like a priest, I guess, or a healer, sort of still has somewhat of a balance. These guys could just out heal themselves while they're getting owned by big ass creatures, except it kind of goes forever and it takes them forever to kill it. So yeah, and I think doctors, I've seen a lot of different tricks. I think some people do pistols, some people do piercing even. Like there's with some of those classes you can do a couple of things, but I think pistols are one of the more common weapons for a doctor. Enforcer, they're 2-hand blunt, 2-hand edge, 1-hand blunt, and 1-hand edge I think is the 4 common ones. From what I've learned, 2-hand blunt is probably on average a better one to start with. Enforcers are basically like the tanks of the game. They have this ability called Mango, Mongo, I forget. And basically it tracks all the mobs near them, but they also get like a healing tick on them, which is pretty powerful, and they're pretty kick-ass. Let's just say they're kind of like your Skull Crusher, you know, brutal kind of mean guy, and very important in groups. Bureaucrat is probably almost what it sounds like. He gives certain buffs out, sort of like motivation speeches, and he also brings a lot of EXP perks and bonuses into the group. Not like 90% of games out there, this game has a lot of ways that you can increase your EXP gain by things like the bureaucrats buffs, faction, certain other ways that too. But yeah, bureaucrat's pretty sweet. They have 1 pet, and they have 2 they're kind of a taming. It's been so long since I played. Oh yes, charming. They can charm. So they can charm 2 other mobs, just like normal mobs around the world. One is a long time charmer, which I think is like 30 minutes or something like that, and another one's like 5 or 10 minutes, which is a short time charmer. And they're really, really, really good soloing. They're probably better at Doctor, really, for soloing, but Bureaucrat overall is a really complex class. Actually, I should probably put that maybe into the second or first hardest versus agent. But anyways, they're a fun class or profession. Remember, there's no classes in this game. There's no PvP, or there's no PvE. It's PvM we call it, and of course PvP is PvP. The next is martial artist. Difficulty to play low. I kind of agree this in some ways, but also I kind of disagree. I feel that over the years I always played martial artist because people say it's the cheapest profession, but I have to almost disagree that martial artist is actually quite a costly profession to tweak. I find that over the years, just people saying, oh, it's the cheapest, you don't even have weapons, and etc. and etc. I kind of almost felt that it wasn't quite true. Some of the other gear you needed to keep your martial artist up to damage with a lot of other players seem to cost quite a bit. I think higher levels though, martial artists kick a lot of ass once they put a lot of crit into their skill set. They do a lot of damage. Crit is crazy in this game, so yeah, I think later on they get good, but I don't think they're the easiest. Well, they're the easiest, but they're not really. I don't know. I wouldn't play a martial artist again, I don't think, as a first character, as long as if I didn't have quite of a money set for it kind of thing. Nanotechnician. I should shut up now. Nanotechnicians probably the craziest characters ever. They probably make a lot of money if you have. Well, you could probably do it on the arcade world too. So if you're a free or a paid player, you probably can make good money. But if you're a paid player, for sure you can make a lot of credits with it. I can't stand it. But basically, there's a place called Heckler Hill, a few places, and basically the nanotechnician runs and grabs all these big hecklers, which is a monster, and they can grab like 50 of them at a time, and they AoE them down with their nano attacks while they're kiting them. And basically people sit up on the top, and you have a bureaucrat in your group, and basically he can throw up a perk that lasts, I think, like 1 minute, that gives 50% EXP, and basically the nanotechnician kills them all. And then during that 1 minute, basically the bureaucrat's job's just to hit the perk just near the end, and boom, you get 50 of these kills, which these guys are probably like, I don't know, 50 levels at least higher than you, and you get all this bonus EXP. It's pretty insane. Like, you can almost get a level just from one kite around. So it's kind of crazy, and this is what I mean. This game, every character, every profession is really unique and different, and even if you play individual characters like trader, doctor, etc., each one is going to be different from another one. No one looks the same. Everyone has different gear in this game. It's not like certain games where you get to end game and boom, we all have the same gear, we got matching raid sets, and no, not in this game. So I'm going to make a soldier. And sorry, I'm boring some people. I know some people who were playing this game for a long time might find the first few episodes really boring, because I'm really trying to attract new players to the game. So I just want to kind of explain things to them, kind of give them an idea of my personal opinion, I guess. I don't want to make this like everyone's opinion, because I'm sure a lot of people have different opinions, but I'm just giving you my personal opinion on things. So now I just have to make a name and we're done. So I'm going to call myself something stupid. I always do stupid names. So Cuddly. Oh, look at that. She does a little bow when I did Cuddly. And I'm going to start on Rubica, because that's the only place where free players can start, and I find Rubica is good if you have a subscription account, especially if you have AI. That's the alien expansion, because you can get 2 AI levels while on the newbie island. So here we go. We'll try Rubica and we'll see if Cuddle's taken. Probably is. Oh, no. Ooh. Now you get to listen to the epic music. So we have landed. And yeah, that basically concludes episode 1. Since I'm going to, you can pretty much exit here. I'm gonna exit here. I'm gonna stop here. I think my next episode's gonna be a lot faster kind of thing. I'm gonna just do UI editing and changing, and just describe some things to you guys while I'm doing it, and maybe talk about the interface a bit. So check out my next episode, which will focus more on the UI elements of the game, and then the next one after that, I guess we'll work on a mission and kick some ass in here. Thanks for watching, and I hope you subscribe.